Hey there, children. This is Mr. Briggs. I'm coming to you from my house. As you know, I might be just a little bit under the weather, but I thought that you'd like to get a lesson on what we're doing today. Well, today's lesson is to create a 3D printed trophy or a 3D printed action figure. Now, if you do a Google search for 3D printed trophy, you get some really cool ideas. One of the cool things about 3D printing is that you can make just one of something. And so it's very, very easy to create these very unique and kind of fun-looking trophies that are 3D printed to look any way you want. And make them for whoever you want, any way that you want to make them. I thought it'd be really cool as kind of a fun project to finish up our little 3D design thing, to give you a choice to either make a really great 3D trophy of your own design, or to create a 3D printed action figure. Now, I am not made of printer filament. So, let me explain. You may only build a trophy if it can sit on a 40 by 40 millimeter base. And your action figure, in order to make your action figure kind of cool, it has to be an action figure. It's not so much an action figure as it is a bunch of parts. And these parts will fit into fruits or vegetables and make them into a toy, a la Mr. Potato Head. The original Mr. Potato Head used a real potato. You had a real, honest-to-goodness potato, and you stuck things into it to make it into a character. Well, I said we could take this one step further. Let's go ahead and make an awesome action figure, an awesome like robot or superhero or whatever. Make a bunch of parts to attach to a fruit or vegetable of your choice. So, hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to start by making a trophy. So, making a basic trophy is going to be pretty simple. You've got all of these parts that you can use, and the first thing we need is a base. So, I'm going to use a pyramid here as a base. And I'm going to make sure that the base of my pyramid is 40 millimeters by 40 millimeters. Now this is the max size. It does not need to be that large. You can make it smaller if you want. And then what I think I should do is I think I should put a cylinder or something on top of it. Now you can definitely use any shape you want. What's important though is that your trophy look really good and symmetrical from all sides. Now this looks pretty good to me. It looks kind of like it's in the middle. So I'm going to grab everything and I'm going to group it. And now they're grouped, or they should be. And now I have one solid shape. Well, let's put something on top of that. For that, I'm going to use maybe a little roof piece. But I'm going to take this roof piece, and I'm going to grab it and rotate it 180 degrees. Put it in the middle. Using the little triangle there, the little cone, I'm going to lift it up and plop it in the middle. Okay, that's definitely not lined up. One of the really useful tools, if you learn how to use it, is the Align tool. And the Align tool lets you click stuff and line stuff up perfectly. Well, it looks like I'm lined up pretty good, but I might want to make this, it looks a little too high. So I might want to bring it down just a little bit. The reason I'm going to do that is a lot of these pieces, or it's got to get 3D printed. If it's getting printed in real life, it is going to print from the bottom up. Now, if it's printing from the bottom up, you're going to be in trouble. Because if things are sticking out too far, the printer won't print them. Looks like I've got a pretty good idea for a base here. I'm going to group it one more time. let's get some text on there. Now maybe I'm going to get this, I'm going to make a trophy, I think, for my dog. So I'm going to drag some text in. Oh, looks like I dragged it in twice by accident. Let's delete one of those. And I'm going to make this here world's okayest. And you'll see what I'm going to do in a second. I'm going to make this a reasonable size. Shrink it down maybe. And I'm going to, because I like that size, maybe just use the duplicate button. I'm going to say world's okayest. Come on, let me edit this. This thing's being weird. There we go. World's okayest dog. Alright. I'm going to line these up really good with each other. And I'm going to group just the letters. The reason I'm grouping just the letters is so that now I can make them smaller or larger at the same time. So I've got some great text. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to put it inside my trophy. Now I've got a couple of problems here. First problem is a lot of my letters are sticking off the edge there. That means they're going to fall off the end. I also have that G, and that G is sticking through the bottom. That's not going to work either. So, okay, so I've got to figure out a different way to adjust this, a different way to make it so that it doesn't stick off the end. Well, I'm going to use my undo button. And now, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a box and I'm going to make a platform for the words to sit on. And I'm going to make them 40 wide here and line it up real good. And I'm going to make it a lot shorter. And I might even just put it inside there just a little bit. Take my words again, rotate them, oh, I goofed. Mr. Briggs goofed here. He should have rotated this so he had a better view. That's a lot better. So I take this, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to put it inside there and lift it up. Maybe even make it a little shorter. Not both pieces, just the words. And now, my words sit on there pretty good. I just want to make sure they stick out just a little bit. So I've got to somehow select just the words. There they are. And I'm just going to push them forward just a little bit so that they stick out a little bit. So now I've got the front of my trophy. That's looking pretty good. So now that I'm where I'm at, I'm going to group everything together. Now this is where I'm going to allow you to cheat a little bit. What you can do is two things to put your topper of your trophy on. You could assemble something using all the different parts of Tinkercad, or I'm going to let you cheat. And cheating involves you going to thingiverse.com. Some of you have gone to this before. It's one of my favorite websites ever. And if you go to Thingiverse, there's all these really great things that you can download, really great shapes. We want a really simple one. So I'm going to find, my dog is a terrier. I'm going to do a search for terrier. And look, I found all these really great 3D printed terriers. That's a really cool one, but he doesn't really look like my dog. My dog's not a bull terrier. He is pretty darn close to a Glen of a Mall terrier, but I don't know that I want to use that one because it's got way too much detail. I want something that's simple. Here we go. That looks really simple and about the shape of my dog. Let's look at this guy. Okay. That's about the shape of my dog, and it's a really simple shape. So I'm going to go down here, to where it says Thing Files. This is very important. And make sure your file is an STL file. And it downloaded that STL file, right? So I'm going to go back here to my trophy. I'm going to hit Import. And I'm going to find that file here and import it. And now it should pop right into the middle there, somewhere, my terrier. Any second now. There it is. Cool. Now, I don't like it there, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to hack it a little bit, make it a little bit thicker so it's easier to print. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And I'm going to put it in the middle of my trophy. Okay. Make sure it's a good height here. The back legs seem to be sticking off. I wonder if I can rotate that a little bit. Let's see. Just a little. Too much. That's perfect. There he goes. Now, that should print okay. I think nothing's too crazy for sticking out. Nothing's hanging off the edge. So that's looking okay. So I'm going to go ahead and group that. And now I'm going to talk about getting it ready for printing. The first thing I want to do is change the name to third hour. Okay. If it's third hour, fourth hour if it's fourth hour, and then put in your name. Okay? This lets me know whose this I'm printing and which hour. Okay? The two most important things. The next thing I'm going to do after I've changed the name is I'm going to hit export. And I'm going to make sure this is exported as a STL file. And now, there you go, it just downloaded. And that file is what you are going to turn in for your assignment. And you turn in that file, and we're good. Well, now let's talk about the second part, the kind of optional one. I've always done the trophy. I'm interested in doing my own Mr. Potato Head parts. So, first thing I'm going to do is I want to build a robot arm, maybe. Right? So I'm going to take my piece here, my cylinder, and I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to make this so that it's 5 millimeters. Oh, not 5 millimeters long. I want it 5 millimeters wide. So 5 millimeters and 5 millimeters. And I'm going to make it a little bit long and stringy. Why do I want a long, pokey thing? Well, it needs to stick into the potato. So, I have the basic part of my arm there, right? Now, I need to build something on top of it. I want to make a robot arm. So I'm going to take a box, make it a decent size, maybe make it a little bit longer, right? And I like the shape of that thing. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to rotate it just a little bit to kind of make the elbow and put these two pieces together and group them. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Kind of a hockey stick here. Well, I need to make my robot claw, right? So, I'm going to make my robot claw here by maybe making a roof piece and rotating it 90 degrees. Shrinking it down just a bit, maybe lifting it up a little bit. Cool, I got one side right there. I'm going to take another one and duplicate it. But I'm going to take it and flip it around. And now I have a robot claw. Now I can add all kinds of effects or wires or kind of cool stuff to it. Whatever it is I feel like. Right? It's mine to do whatever I want. And now I've got this really cool robot claw that when I print it will stick into a potato and make that potato a robot potato if I print out a couple of them. How do I print a couple of them? Real easy. I'm going to just duplicate it. Now I got 2 robot arms. Okay. Now the only thing that you kind of have to keep track of is you have to make sure that the size of your stuff does not get too big. I can shrink it down pretty easily, but, try to keep it a decent size. Okay? So really, a lot of the restrictions are on making the trophy. So there we have it. We have 2 parts we can make. You have 2 projects you can work on. You can work on making a trophy of your own design, or parts to attach into a Mr. Potato Head of your own design. Go ahead, have fun with this, be creative, and make sure to change the name of your file before you turn it in.